What is going on, guys? This week we're going to be doing something I've been wanting for a very, very long time. So we've got this tribe called the Maasai, and they found in Kenya and stuff, and they're mainly cattle herders, and they've got this, they've got two items. That they've got a spear and almost like a sheet of fabric that they use to wrap their bodies with. That's the only clothing they've got, and that's the only weapon they've got. Rite of passage for a Masai boy to become a man is actually to physically use his particular spear that he's created out of an old oil drum to kill a lion. That sounds crazy and stupid, but at the end of the day, that's why Africans can afford to have more than one wife, because there's usually 1 to 2. Anyway, not getting into that, but yeah. So what I have here is I have a piece of old drum. It's a decent thickness steel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use exactly the same methods and techniques that they use. Obviously, I've just got a little bit more modern equipment, like a forge and stuff. They would just be using an open fire. I've also got a vise which I will use, but for the most part it's going to be exactly the same process that they do. Now all we got to do to start this fire is turn this on, and that should catch quite quickly. May as well start heating this up while we can. So my main problem is that a Maasai warrior does not have grinders or anything to work with the steel once he's finished hitting it with a hammer. He's only got a hammer. So I've pretty much got to do everything by hand to create this spear. Will I make a good one? I don't know. Will I want to challenge a lion with my spear when I'm done? Definitely not. All right, have a look what we can do. Should be hot enough. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making the other side of the spear, which I'm just going to start beating it on this thing. I don't need it to fold over, I need it to skinny up, so knock it flat and voila, and carry on going. Okay, so I'm going to speed this process up just due to the fact that at the end of the day this is a very long process getting this drawn out, and I don't want to keep you here all day. Take a look in there, that is very, very, very hot. Okay, let's work a bit more on the tip. The one joy of having a forge is you just have to keep on feeding it. A wood forge, at least. I mean, you take that, that's a solid blue gum beam. That is hot. It's like butter at the moment. All right, almost there, boys. Almost there. When I say almost there, I mean we're just starting. Okay, I'm trying to lengthen this a little bit so that we can cut that piece off. Ay, ay, ay. Just bring it closer to the edge, please. Thank you. Okay, that's that. It's cut off. So people ask me why I don't use coals in the forge, why I don't use briquettes or something like that. At the end of the day, you know, briquettes cost me something to buy. Coal costs me time to make. But if you're just doing this method of just feeding the fire with wood and ending up with coals in the middle, it gives me more than enough to forge with, which in turn saves me a lot of money instead of having to do the whole rigmarole of trying to organize charcoal. Okay, let's see what we can do. I believe that's somewhat of a twist. I gotta just flatten it out, do it again and again, and it'll give it that characteristic round bar of the Masai Mara spear shaft. You could just beat the Masai Mara blade round, but then it doesn't have the same strength, and because I'm trying to do as close a replica as possible to a Masai Mara spear, I'm gonna do it their way. That nice twist coming on. Typically there would be like 5 guys forging their things at the same time in the same fire and beating the bellows and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, it is just me, which is going to create a problem, because just like I cut off the tip that had a crack in it, I would cut through this with this thing. but I'm not going to be able to do that just due to the fact that I do not have a second person helping me here. It's a bit frustrating, but I'm going to have to use a grinder on that particular part, unless I can find somebody to help me quickly. Right, start making my loop. I think I just do that. So it's got a little dent in it. If I hit this, that. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to use a grinder because there's no one here to help me. Wasn't my plan on this blade, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, eh? Ja, ja. En dan jy breek kom en dan is dit my skuld. Sharp, sharp, dankie. Okay, so this is the one side done. The shaft's going to go in over there. It's got the actual shaft of it and it came out pretty nicely. I want to be able to work with it instantly, that's why I'm cooling it down with water. It's not the best for the blade, but at the end of the day I want to carry on working now. So as you can see, it's getting nice and sharp. I'm using some oil on a piece of cement. Typically you'd use sandstone, but yeah, don't really have sandstone around here anyway, so just going ahead and doing this. Doesn't need to be razor sharp, it just needs to be sharp enough to penetrate. Its next piece. So what this piece needs to be is a piece about that long, and it needs to be tapered to a point, to a fine point. And yeah, it needs to be about as thick as my pinky most of the way. So, and it also needs that same grip as the last one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat this into a bar, into a round bar, and then I'm going to go twist it and beat it and twist it and beat it, and yeah, hopefully it comes out nicely. Just like I did with the first blade behind the piece. I'm going to leave a piece so I can twist, and then I'm just going to flatten this piece out. I can already see it's getting narrower. I want a bar so that I can stretch it out and make it into a point. So this is the same process as before. I'm just beating it flat and then going to make it into a loop so that it can hold the shaft nicely. So here's pretty much the finished product. Obviously it still needs some work on the tip, but other than that it's ready to be put onto the spear. I cut it off with a grinder. I know that's not what I wanted, but I don't have anyone to help me out, so might as well just do it with a grinder. Get this pipe straight. Okay, so what we have here is we've got my beginnings of my spear. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. I just want to grab a piece of wood here, have a look at if the stuff is the right thickness. And once I found a suitable stick, I just started cutting, cut it down and cleaned it up, and away we went. So what we're doing here is we're just knocking the shaft in now. Perfect. That's tight. Almost there. Yeah, I like a spear. Definitely going to use this for hunting. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, a spear ready for the hunting season. Very happy with how it turned out. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.